I guess we'll play it by ear once we get there. Because like I say, I don't know what it looks like underneath here.
No, yes, sir.
Yeah,
it's just kind of
tricky. Yeah. But everything else, we will be good.
Perfect. I'm not really worried about the back, not too terribly much.
To be Thor today. So today, we're gonna turn this guy into this guy. See this guy? This handsome gentleman, the ladies' delight. We're gonna turn him into Thor. So I'm starting by parting his hair underneath the parietal ridge. So if you know, the parietal ridge is where the head starts to round. If you lay a comb flat here, that's their parietal ridge. So I'm gonna part his hair a little bit longer because if you guys saw in the picture, he has a lot of length through the parietal ridge. So I wanna leave a lot of length through there. It's gonna be a good transformation. Just doing some parting. A lot of this hair, a lot of this length on top will be gone. When's the last time you had your hair cut?
About a year, maybe a year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago. It's a long time.
Long time.
So now that this is done, I'm gonna section off a little bit of the back because of course I want to retain a lot of the length through the crown, and I don't want to go in too high on the crown. So I'm gonna drop this parting down a little bit lower. So as you see there, it almost comes down to a V. With my detachable blade, I will use a huge guard, a number 8, just to remove some bulk so we can get an idea of what we're working with underneath this wilderness. And detachable blade clippers, they're really good at removing bulk. Because once I remove this bulk, I can actually start to really get in here and define the shape and the type of haircut that I'm gonna do here. It's a little hard to envision, although I know the steps I will use to get there, but for some people it's hard for them to envision how to get to that look from where he is now. So this is why I'm removing a lot of this bulk. And a lot of times it's tricky when guys have come from hair that's long to a shorter style. Sometimes it's a little difficult to tame their hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slightly dampen his hair just to get some control on his hair. See if I can get it to, because his hair now is gonna style forward. If you saw that picture before, it's styled forward. So now I'm going to use my 3/4 blade on my detachables, and I'm just going to go up right underneath where I left off with that 8. And I'm glad that I dampened the hair a little bit because now I've got a little bit extra control here with the detachables. I'm just gonna work my way down. As you can see here, you can probably see like this hair here just sprouts out. You can see how that hair, so we're gonna have to obviously shorten that. And who knows, maybe that's a cowlick, maybe that's just from his hair being long. But when you're presented with cowlicks, those things happen. You have a question to answer. It's either, are you gonna leave it long or are you gonna cut it short? So that's a question that you have to answer to yourself when dealing with a cowlick. It's like, am I gonna cut it short or am I gonna leave it long? And of course, I've got to go every which way because his hair, like I say, it's coming from such a longer length, going down to a shorter length is very untamed back here. So now that we have a good base to what we're doing in a good style, because I left a lot of length through here, and I left a lot of this length through here on purpose, because what I'll do is I'll come back through here and use the scissors to connect this to the top, and now we can start working our way down and refining some of this area through here. So next step is I'm going to use the 5/8 blade and just work underneath where I was just working with the 3/4. It's very simple. Just working right underneath where I just was. Very simple. I didn't want to come in and take off too much hair too fast. I wanted to really see how the hair came off first. That's the beautiful part about fading down, is that you can see what you're doing versus just going in there and just attacking stuff right away. In some cases this is good if you know your client, if you've cut your client before, but in this case I've never cut his hair before, so it's a really good approach. Now I'll take the 3/4 and now continue to work my way down. We're not going to go low. He wants to still keep a lot of hair, as you saw from the picture. Thor, he has a lot of hair through the back and the sides. It looked, or it appeared, that that was around a 2 or a 3. So we'll try and emulate the style and keep a similar style. Finally, I will use my 3.5 blade, and then now I will fade out a little bit of this. As you can see, I got a hold of that hair that was growing wild in the nape area. It's now tamed. So now I know, or have a clear path as to what I want to do with this hair back here. I have a somewhat of an understanding of how I will attack it. And that's all that I was looking for there. Pretty simple. Now that the sides are done, we can now tackle the top and get all of this messy hair out of his face. He looks like he's wearing a toupee or something. But no longer, we can now give him a fashionable look. The hair's been in his face bothering him. So now we can actually get in here and start attacking. And I'm just saturating the hair. A lot of this is coming off, so there's really no need for me to saturate all of his hair. I'm really just trying to get the roots. I'm not worried about the ends of his hair. I'm just trying to get this in on the roots, because that's where we're gonna be spending most of our attention. I'm gonna use the clippers just to remove the bulk, but I'm gonna come back and refine with the scissors. So if you're curious, I'm holding this like this, parallel, comb, clippers, 000 blade, and I'm just gonna elevate his hair, and I'm gonna take off a bunch of this length. I'm just gonna get this out of the way.
All right, we're gonna give you a call.
And I know it seems like, oh, you're not doing anything technical. No, not right now. This isn't the technical part. Right now, I'm just removing bulk. I just want to get a lot of this hair out of the way, because I don't want to have to worry about technically cutting his hair with tons of hair in my way. Once I can get all of this hair out of my way, then we can worry about technically cutting his hair. Boom. You see? Big difference.
Already a big difference.
A lot of the bulk is now removed. Now we can actually get to the meat and potatoes of this haircut. So now I will saturate his hair more. And we can now worry about technically cutting his hair. That hairstyle was pretty simple. It looked around, if I had to take a guess, it looked around 3 inches in length. So what we're gonna do is shorter in the back, longer in the front. Typical men's hairstyle is what you would see out of a men's hairstyle. Typically shorter in the back, longer in the front. I'm gonna start with some profile partings, straight down the middle. Should have my wife be a camera person. I was telling him that it's always easy doing these YouTube videos when I have a camera person. My wife happens to be here. I should make her the camera person. Whoa, hair is slippery. Oh boy. That's one thing with hair. When you're cutting hair in the shop, you want to be very careful because hair is very slippery. If you're doing a haircut like this where it's going from a long haircut to a short one, you want to really get a hold of the hair and be careful where you're stepping, how you're stepping, because hair is very slippery. If you guys did not know that, you can really slip and fall and hurt yourself cutting hair. If you did not know that, it can be very hazardous. So as you see here, I'm just creating a guide and I'm creating my shape, as you can see here. So hair's longer here, shorter here, as you can see. You see that? Hair is shorter. See this hair in the fringe is longer. This hair is shorter. You see that? And you can see just by the apex of his head here, you see how this tilts to the crown, to his frontal lobe here. You see the hair dips. So if this was a uniform haircut, it would be just 90 degrees and it would be the shape of almost a rainbow because his head, as you see it, dips here. But I need to create this length of hair longer. As you see here, the apex of his head. If this hair was the same length, obviously you would have a different outcome. So now I cut my profile, I can now match. So I'm just gonna bring up these sections and match the sides here. I'm just bringing up each section and I'm just matching the guide on the sides here. And for the most part, if you're curious what kind of shape of haircut this is, it's a triangular square shape, meaning the crown to the front is the shape of a triangle, but if you look at it from the front, it will be square.
Yeah, all the oils are $5. All the oils are $5.
I wonder if there's something
Man, don't be rushing me.
See, boom, boom. And I'm just matching my guide. The longer hair that's there, I'm just gonna connect it to the shorter hair. So as you see that long hair, it's gone. any of the longer hair that's longer than the shorter hair that's in there from this center profile section, I'm matching this hair on this side to the profile. So as you see here, we got a short section here and all of this long hair. The long hair has to go. Very simple. So now that that is done for the most part, because we're gonna come in here and add some texture to this haircut, I'm gonna come into the recession area through here and connect this with the sides. So I'm gonna pull this hair down. As I lift this hair through here, I can see that shorter hair through the parietal ridge. I can see that. So now I want to match that with that. Now that my guide is created, I'm just gonna follow that guide. I'm gonna do the same thing here with the front. You see this hair will flow nicely. As I style it, put product in it, it will flow well. Instead of if he were to style his hair whichever way, if he wanted to throw it to the left or right, if he does that, it doesn't overhang and the hair disconnects. We want the hair to connect, and we want it to grow as he wears his hair. I don't want him to leave here and in a few weeks his hair is disconnected and he's frustrated because he doesn't want a disconnected look, but I accidentally gave him one. So now I'm gonna look for my guide, and as you can see, I can see the guide there. You can see that short hair right through here. So I'm just gonna match that to my guide. I'm just gonna cut all of this. Boom. I'm just matching a lot of that. Boom. See how that flows? And like I say, we're still going to refine a lot of this with the scissors. But I'm going to take another section. I'm going to go a little higher, take another section. As you can see, there's a slight disconnection, but what I will do instead of this, what I'll do is I'll come in with my thinning shears and just add a little texture to this portion of the hair instead of just blunt cutting it. The rest of this portion of this haircut, I will now use the blending scissors to cut the rest of the portion of this haircut, because I want, from this point on, I want softer lines. I don't want hard lines anymore. I want really soft lines, because right now the shape has been created, the foundation is there, but now it's time to just refine and start to add the texture and flow to the haircut. So as you saw, I left a lot of this heavy. This is where coming in with the blending scissors will come in handy, because I'm just gonna come in here and blend a lot of this in. And these particular scissors, they cut about 30% of the hair each cut, which means I can go in here and be very liberal with each cut that I make. I don't have to worry that I may be cutting too much. I can really come in here and be very aggressive with these, and this is what I like about this particular pair. And we're gonna ask him how he feels about the length on the front, and if we need to, we can easily take any length off the front. It's no problem. So we're gonna put some product. We want to get that texture through the sides here, just like Thor has in the picture. So this is why I left that side a lot longer. As you see, I'm going in here, I'm just being really aggressive. I want to add a lot of texture to this look because whether he uses product or not, and if he does, as he uses the product, it will just enhance the haircut because it will bring out all of the texture that I'm adding to his haircut if he uses product. And what also helps is during the hot summers here in Texas, it also helps his hair being just a little bit lighter. It'll grow out a lot better when your hair is textured, and it'll be a lot easier to move. So he won't have to rely on product so much. So now I'll ask him, what does he think about the length? Do you want it a little bit shorter?
Yeah, just a little bit.
In the front?
In the front right there,
okay.
Yes sir. Other than that, that's looking really good.
Okay, so I figured he would want it a little shorter. And you being the stylist or the barber, you want to make sure that you don't go past the point of no return. Meaning if I would have cut this too long, he would have been unhappy because, or if I would have cut it too short, I should say, he would have been unhappy. So he wants this a little bit shorter, but what I'm doing is I'm using the blending scissors to reduce the length. Meaning I'm doing double duty. I'm adding texture while reducing length. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. Like I told you, I was gonna add texture anyway, but I get to do that now. With the blending scissors. Because I want the texture to pop whenever we apply the product.
You see that red table? This? There's more stuff. There's some on top of this. Or there's some.
So now I'm just going around just adding texture. His hair lays pretty well, so I don't have to worry about any strong cowlicks here. I can really go in here, and it's nice when you have clients like this where their hair cooperates and you don't have to worry about pesky cowlicks anywhere. So what do you think now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a lot better?
A lot better.
Okay.
Yes sir.
So it's a big difference, but as you see, I just cut a little bit shorter, but as you can see, it's a big difference. I can feel it. It's definitely a lot shorter through the front. I'm gonna add just a little bit more texture. I'm just basically feeling his hair. His hair is damp. It's not completely wet, so I could actually really get a good feel. Typically, you want to texture hair when it's dry because you can get a real good feel of how their hair really sits when it's dry. When the hair is wet, it's really hard to tell where the heavy spots are, but his hair is pretty damp. It's not even that that wet, and I can still feel his hair like where it's heavy. Overall, his hair right now as it sits, it feels pretty light. With the nape of his neck, we were deciding like whether we wanted to taper it, leave it somewhat natural. At least that's what it looked like Thor had in the picture. But we're gonna come in here. I'm gonna show him the mirror. Let me show you the mirror, see what you think. As far as like what you want to do with the nape. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
See how it's overgrown quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess just
Let me just line the sides.
line it up, yeah. Just line it up, and I think it should be good.
We're gonna line up the sides. You see, it's been a year, so his hair is quite overgrown here. So I'm just gonna come in here, following this natural line. I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to make it like just. Obviously, it's gonna be sharp. It's gonna be a sharp line, but I don't want to go too crazy. And of course, I'm combing this hair to the line. I'm following this line right here where it curves. I'm just gonna follow that straight down. I don't want to go in too far because that doesn't look natural, as you see there. Nice and simple. Now the challenge is what we're going to do with this hair here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trimmers with my comb, flip it over, and I'm just going to lighten up a lot of this hair. I'm going to make it light. It's almost like I'm going to taper the back of his hair, because I want it to be natural. I don't want to put a hard line at the bottom because of the way that Thor's hair looks in the picture. It looks very natural. So now that we got a lot of that hair at the bottom, I can start to refine just the little hairs through here with the blending scissors. I can just come in here and just take any of this out. Just want to lighten it. Because his hair is really light through there, I don't want to take too much. I don't want it to look like too precise. I still want it to look as though it's a haircut, but I don't want it to look too fresh, which that might sound a little off to some people, but that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just want to have that look that it looks like it's a few days old. And as you gain experience, you'll find some clients like this. They like this look where their haircut doesn't look too new. And that's the look that I was going for in the back there. So as you see the line there on both sides. So now what I'll do is I'll connect just this part a little bit. I'll just use the blenders to come in through here on the sides to get the sides, because this is all going to flow forward with the product. But I don't want to do like a harsh line around his ear. So I'm just coming in with the blenders. Boom. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now I will add some Lay Right grooming spray. Right before I blow dry. Like I say, his hair is pretty damp. You want to apply this to damp hair. It protects from heat from the blow dryer. It also adds texture through the hair as you blow dry. So what this allows me to do is not use so much product once it's time to put product. And I'm just gonna blow dry this by hand. This is before any product. As you can see, there's a lot of texture through here. This is before any product, and what I credit this to is the cut, me adding the texture, and the grooming spray and the blow dry. I just styled it by hand, and he can do this at home. This is very easy to do, but styling it by hand. But we're still gonna add just a little bit of product. As you see, not a lot of product is necessary, but we will add just a little bit. Product I'll be using today, I'll be using a clay. So not a whole lot of product is needed in this style. I'm just gonna get it in here, work it into the sides. Like I said, so as you see here, here's the style. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful in how to execute a transformation and make your life a little bit easier in the process, because it can be daunting looking at a longer style and how to create this new style. Just follow the steps. I hope it was helpful, but if it was, leave a like, share, and subscribe. Press the notification bell and browse the channel. I have plenty of great barbering content on the channel for you to learn from, different haircuts and many different styles. And don't forget to subscribe. It's been your man, I Do a Barber, signing out. I'll holla.